105.7 Light FM, REO Speedwagon. Hey, good morning. Glad you're here today. We're at 8:42 now. It's 18 before 9. Advisory services offered through Second Half Financial Partners, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The opinions voiced and information provided in this material are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments are appropriate for you, please consult with a financial advisor. Second Half Financial Partners, LLC does not provide tax or legal advice. Please consult your tax or legal advisor regarding your particular situation. Well, holy crud! It's time to check in on your money, and one would think there's peace in the valley and everything's coming up roses based on yesterday's markets. Let's check in with Philip Statler from Statler Financial Services and sober up a little bit on this because, boy, it sure looked good yesterday, didn't it, Philip?
It did look good yesterday, Dave. And it's looking a little green this morning too. I gotta like what I'm seeing right now, and trying to figure out. I know your big thing is why. Why? Who knows why? Other than it was the end of the quarter, so we're gonna have some options expiring. We're gonna have some mutual funds reallocating and wanting to put some names in their portfolio that people like, and so that could help. But we're coming off of a correction or close to correction in most indexes.
Yep, yeah, the S&P bottomed out just about 70 points south of north of a correction level, and when the Dow hit correction level on Monday morning, I was kind of thinking that probably is going to generate just a few computer programs to hit the buy button, and all those factors together with the change in the month, the options expiring, the correction level, we were up on the Dow yesterday by, get this, 1,125 points. That's 2.5%. Standard & Poor's was up by 2.9%, and the NASDAQ was up 3.83%, 796 points. And not to be excluded, the Russell was up by, 3.4% yesterday. I mean, it was just party time. They bought anything that wasn't nailed down yesterday, didn't they?
Yeah, and we got to think we enjoy that, right? Because we have not seen this kind of buying in a while, and it gives us some maybe a little optimism.
Absolutely. The other indication that really moved things up a little about 1:30 in the afternoon was when President Trump made mention that he figured things were pretty well done in Iran and we should be out of there in a couple of weeks. And all of the major indexes, there was just a knee upward early afternoon off of that. So you put all the factors together, and it was literally party time for the day. And you mentioned that some of the optimism actually continues this morning, and that's generated a little bit by the first number that we're going to get as far as employment is concerned. And I was saying this week earlier, I think that ADP report is going to carry a lot more weight this week than it normally would, because when we get the official federal report on Friday, we ain't going to have any markets open because it's Good Friday. And ADP showed an actual gain in employment of, 62,000 jobs, which was more than we expected. I didn't hear what the expectation was. Did you?
Expectation is about 39,000. So 62,000 is a pleasant surprise. I know March got adjusted up to 66,000. I mean, not March, February got adjusted up to 66,000. So about 4,000 less than last month. So again, it seems like that in the private sector, it seems to be heavily weighted towards healthcare and construction. Seems to be where the momentum is in employment growth.
That's not necessarily good news when construction's driving it, only on the grounds that the MBA report this morning says the average home mortgage rate is now up to 6.51%, and the index went down by about 30 points this morning as far as mortgage activity is concerned. I hope that doesn't indicate we're going to have some of those construction jobs in jeopardy.
Yeah, I would hope not too. But I mean, let's face it, construction has been kind of slowing down over the last 6 months or so. So to think that they're still hiring for projects is good news.
Absolutely. So basically, the macro numbers we've got are relatively good news this morning. We got some optimism on Iran. President Trump is going to give a nationwide address tonight. If he says the same thing in his address tonight that he said yesterday, well, okay, we'll have another day or two worth of optimism in the market. Consumer confidence actually gained a little bit this month, according to what I understood.
They did it. Well,
Didn't
yes,
you?
it did. I'm going to find the right number here. But it bumped up 0.8% from where it was last month. But the expectation was for it to actually go down. So it was a
Yeah,
real beat on that point.
absolutely. So once again, things coming up roses. Just tidbits out this morning that I got. Number one of the Fed governors is out talking. Kansas City's Fed president, Jeff Schmidt, was on the rubber chicken circuit yesterday and said that the oil shocks content among broader inflation should change the Fed's perspective. Doesn't say what he thinks they should do, but I've got to assume he's probably thinking raise interest rates. So that was actually on the table earlier this week. A lot of people were saying the odds were increasing on that.
And I think rightly so, because what are they trying to do? They want to battle inflation, and energy prices are going to cause inflation to go up. And it's just everything takes energy, right? You can't make anything without the cost of energy. And so with that going up, the cost of goods are just going to go up.
Absolutely. Other tidbits I got out of the process. We heard the thing about Supermicro last week with some of their haunches getting pinched for smuggling chips to China. One of the big brokerage firms now says Supermicro is uninvestable. Now, if you were in the executive suite of a publicly traded company, that would probably be pretty close to your worst nightmare, wouldn't you think?
I would think so, Dave. That's when you got a big banker coming out and really slashing you like that, that's not good for their stock.
Oh, yeah. Given the fact that an outlook change or a re-rating can end up knocking you down 20%, I'm not sure I really would be too pleased if I were a Supermicro shareholder hearing that little bit of news this morning. Not a lot of reports out there, but we actually do have one publicly traded company that reported. How did Nike do last quarter?
Nike, well, let's just say that their earnings were okay, um, better than expected. Revenue was slightly ahead of expectations, but the stock's really getting weighted down today from downgrades. I mean, it got downgraded by everybody, Dave. JP Morgan, Bank of America, and Goldman Sachs have all downgraded Nike. And you can imagine what that's doing to the stock price today, Dave. It's
I'm afraid
down
to ask.
11.4%.
Youch! That
Don't get
has
on the
hurt,
wrong side
especially
of the big boys.
yeah, especially with the face of the markets going up. That 11% ought to feel more like about a 20% downgrade, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And so, no, yeah, not good, not good news for Nike there. I mean, the revenue and everything seemed to be okay, but downgrade is not helping them. Had a couple other people report. Dave and Buster's Entertainment reported same store sales increased as expected. Revenue adjusted for EBITDA was in line with expectations. They lost about 35 cents a share, which is not good, but they were expected, especially when they were expected to make 39 cents a share, Dave. So
Oops.
a big disconnect there. However, something in the report must be good news because they're up 6.1% this morning.
Well, it just proves that stock buying sometimes is a study of abnormal psychology.
It is. So we
Any
had a
other?
couple of other, we got a couple of household names today, David. I mean, they must have cut off
Yeah.
right at the end of the quarter. You had PVH, which is the clothing company that owns Tommy Hilfiger, Calvin Klein. Those guys, their earnings came in ahead of expectations as well as revenue. And so they are trading up 1% this morning. So that was some good news for them. And then lastly, I have a company. We know this one, RH, which stands for Restoration Hardware. They're falling pretty fast this morning. They missed their estimates when it came to their growth range. The expectation was 8.8%. They downgraded from 4 to a range of 4 to 8%. They missed on earnings, missed on revenue, all the factors for not a good day on Wall Street, and it won't be for them. They are down 22% this morning.
Youch.
Yeah.
This almost sounds like we're getting another shoe dropping for the morning futures, but I know they aren't. I do have some good tidbit news. One of my predictions is coming true. Defense stocks are starting to get the bounce. Boeing is going up. They just struck a 7-year missile deal with the administration to replace all the stuff that we're blowing up over in the Middle East. So sometimes war can be good for some businesses at the very least. Good day yesterday on all the indexes. 45 minutes before we open, what are we looking at this morning?
Dave, we have green ink. You got to be excited about that today. 2 days back to back would be tremendous to start off this quarter and this month. The Dow right now is up 45/100%. That's $208. S&P 500 is right there with them, up $30. NASDAQ 100 is up almost 0.7% or $159. And the Russell 2000 is up about 0.5%, $11. So good news there. Silver is kind of flat. I mean, it's up 0.6%, not much. Gold is bouncing up pretty good, though, up 1.7%. And you got to like this drum roll, Dave. We've got the crude oil down 1.1% to $100.26 a barrel.
Oh, I was hoping my delayed quote was right. It was $99.93. I'm 20 minutes. I figure under 100 is kind of one of those automatic computer trade generators. Looking across the pond, the Asian Rim generally happy seeing us do well. Japanese indexes were up 5.25% at the 6 a.m. close. Mainland Chinese index is up a little over 1.5% as well. Europe, responding to our futures and our yesterday, is almost having a party as well. The average European index is up by about 2.25%. That's big time halfway through their day. Getting my retirement together takes some analysis, some cost explanations, and some risk limitation. How do I find you to get that done so I can retire someday?
Then give us a call at 863-382-0037. Love to spend 30 minutes on the phone with you to make sure that you are heading in the right direction for that retirement you always dreamed of. And then catch the Statler Financial Radio Show this weekend, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk, 7:30 a.m., 95.3 FM. And you can go to our website at statlerfinancial.com and listen to all the replays right there.
Absolutely, and I appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow, and hopefully we'll have more smiley news to talk about. Fair enough?
Fair enough, buddy. Have a great day.
Thank you, my friend. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services. Philip Statler.
Imagine for a
Folks, again, I want to thank you for joining us today. Hope you'll be back tomorrow, same time. Until then, have a great day. Bye now.